Nigeria Info Morning Crossfire is the show you're listening to. Welcome back from the sports studios. We are back now on the show. I am Sheriff Quadry. How are you doing, Lagos? This morning we started at 5 a.m. with the chit chat. Then we took you straight to our newsroom at 6 o'clock. And when we finished with the news, we delved into the newspapers' headlines, where we call it dailies today. And then the sports guys, well, before the sports guys, Tunji Andrews took us through Money, Business and Economy show at 6:45. And at 7, sports guys did their thing. It's 7:32 from our studios here, counting as well. All right. Right now, let's get on to the Crossfire proper. This morning on the Crossfire, we're looking at a special report. An undercover reporter, a Nigerian undercover reporter, did a report titled Justice for Sale. Oh, my word. Justice for Sale. I want to know this morning, because this conversation basically is about you. So I will be asking you this very important question as to if you've ever been extorted before by any security operative or agency. I would like to know, because this is the basis of our conversation today. We'll be speaking with that reporter that did that beautiful story. If you haven't seen it, please go online, search for it. It's there online. You will be able to know what we're talking about today, because it's about extortion, injustice prevailing in Lagos State. As a matter of fact, some illegal detention centers operated by security operatives. It's an amazing story. Sagalink Shegun Awosoya will also be joining us later on the show this morning. We appreciate him for joining us. Kazim Adetola, a rights activist, prisoners' rights activist, will also be joining us on the show this morning on, of course, what we are talking about. You're tuned in right now to the nation's #1 for news, talk, and sports radio, Nigeria Info 99.3. We're broadcasting live from Victoria Island, Lagos. I am Sheriff Quadry. We're discussing Justice for Sale, an investigative story by an undercover reporter, Damilola Banjo, a broadcast and investigative journalist. Now, this particular report that Damilola did exposes how Nigeria's justice system is abused via arbitrary arrest, illegal detentions, torture, and commercialization of justice and bail. Damilola unearths a string of extortions, bribery, and intimidation by the agents and keepers of the law. Every week, across the country, hundreds of people are paraded at the police commands, mostly for public relations gains. We got this one from Damilola's report. Listen, various corruption indexes have rated the Nigerian police force and the judiciary among the top 5 most corrupt institutions in Nigeria. Transparency International, TI, in its 10th edition of Global Corruption Barometer Africa 2019, rates the police and judiciary as first and third most corrupt institutions in Nigeria. The police and the judiciary, first and third most corrupt institutions in Nigeria. Also in 2019, a public survey by the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, ranked the police first and the judiciary third. Oh well. It's been reported that the Nigerian justice system is rigged against the poor, who are unable to defend themselves with the, fat pockets, if you like. Apparently, justice has become such an expensive commodity, fit only for the highest bidder. The criminal justice law of Lagos State provides that the reason for the arrest must be expressly stated before an arrest can be effected. Is this the case in Nigeria? In Lagos in particular? The law also mandates all security agencies to charge suspects to court within 24 hours or release them on bail. Is this the case? Like I said, already we have Damilola on the line. Damilola Banjo is a broadcast journalist, an investigative broadcast journalist. She joins us right now. Damilola, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sherry.
It's good to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I understand we only have very limited time with you this morning, so we're going to try as much as possible to look at your reports in detail as much as we can. But I would like to hear from my listener first, Damilola, if you don't mind. Let's try and sample the opinion of my listeners out there on what they think about unjustly treatment that Lagosians have had to deal with in the hands of security operatives. Let me hear from you out there if you've been unjustly detained before by the police, the army, and any military, any security architecture that we've got. Really, I would love to know. And you know our number. The number is 0700 993 993 993. Share your experience with me right now on the show if you've been unjustly treated before by security operatives that we've got in Lagos here. Talk to me. My lines are blinking already, but in case you'd like to tell me this as well on Facebook, please go there because we're streaming live on Facebook right now. On Twitter, we're also there at Nigeria Info FM. On YouTube, on Facebook, it's Nigeria Info 99.3. The WhatsApp line is 0809 597 5805. Let's see who we have here. Hello, good morning to you.
Sheriff, I don't like this online. Hello?
Yes, Jonathan, please go straight to the point. Please,
Jonathan,
please. Yes.
Jonathan is my name. I have been, some of us have been unjustly treated by...
You in particular, have you been unjustly treated before?
I'm among the group.
Okay.
I'm among, that's what I'm telling you.
Tell me what happened.
I've been telling this thing on this platform when Memo is aware. 2013, some of us that legally bought land somewhere around Lagos, we are unjustly treated. Our properties were demolished. Unjustly. Are you listening to me?
I'm with you.
Yes, I didn't want to mention the judgment, but we are since 2013, and I said we are in Supreme Court right now. Even at Supreme Court, we have fought tooth and nail to get a date for human rights violation. We have gone that far to get a date. And that's why I've been trying to call even in your program this morning. I was very pained that I couldn't get. I couldn't get. I was very pained. I know. I don't want to talk.
What you haven't told me exactly. You haven't told me exactly what happened. How you were unjustly treated.
They unjustly demolished our property. I said, don't think this was like
the police demolished your property.
I didn't mention police, but there is certain security agents alongside the state.
The army, the navy.
Alongside.
Is it the navy or the army?
Okay, you want me to mention?
Yes, mention. Please mention. The navy or the army?
It's the police.
The police
Yes.
demolished your property.
Yes, alongside the state.
All right then. Thank you for calling me, Jonathan. Let's move on to the next call. Hello, good morning to you.
Hey, hello, morning.
Yes, please. Hello? I lost your call. Please try and call me back if you can. I need to move on to the next listener right now. Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
Yeah.
That dropped as well. I don't know what's going on with the calls. Honestly, I actually don't know what's happening. But all the calls are dropping. I actually don't know. I would like to know. I would like to get your feel as to if you've been unjustly treated before. Maybe.
Hello.
Yes. Hello. Good morning to you.
Hello. You can hear me well.
Yes, I can hear you. All right.
Honestly, I think directly, I must confess, I have never been unjustly treated by the police.
All right.
But my area, I've been shouting it on this platform, Badagry Expressway. The way they are treating us there, I don't know.
Okay.
And they will say it openly, that if you have somebody, you will not leave this area, especially from Okwafo down to Agbara. The
Right.
points there,
Right.
more than 7. Anytime commercial bus is moving on that route, they collect money from them in open. I don't know whether they have tax force. I don't know whether the commissioner of police is involved. Because the situation whereby if you are waiting for vehicle, if you didn't carry your car, you will not see any bus coming. If you ask them, they will tell you that from that to Kwafo bus stop,
Right.
down to Agbara,
Right.
you will pay more than 1,000.
So people are being extorted on a daily basis.
honestly, in open. You are
All
not
right.
doing it in secret.
All
As
right.
we are talking now, they are there.
All right, Abaji. Thank you for calling me. Appreciate it. We'll head back to our guest, Dami, on the show this morning. Dami, welcome once again. Let's talk about your report. Why did you venture into that report? Hello, Dami. Oh, we lost Dami's call. We'll be able to reach back to Dami anytime soon. Apologies for that. I mean, the lines are not acting as they should appropriately. But let's try and fix that. We will try and fix that as quickly as we can. We'll be right back after this.
Crossfire now starts at 5 a.m. Your favorite current affairs show on the radio.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning Crossfire now starts at 5 a.m. The Chit Chat, Dailies Today, Sports Drive, and the Crossfire are all packed together in a 4-hour-long morning Crossfire show Monday through Friday. It's engaging, highly conversational, and impactful. The Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. Get up! Get up! Get up! It's time for the Morning Crossfire.
99.3 Nigerian for the Morning Crossfire is a show. And yes, we are having this conversation with Damilola Banjo, an undercover investigative journalist who did an amazing report on the extortion, the arbitrary detention, the raid. You know what they call police raid? Well, she did that report, amazing report she did. And I've read the report, parts 1 and 2. The report is online. Where we have Damilola joining us right now. Damilola, once again, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Let's talk about why you went to do this report. What drove you into doing this report exactly?
So, as a young journalist, I started out as a judicial correspondent. And so I'm familiar with the justice system to a good extent. And then later on, I started reporting on crime, which means that I usually cover this press briefings
Right.
that the police command do almost weekly. And one thing I found out covering, the courts and this parade or press briefing, as the police call it,
Right.
is that sometimes, or most of the times actually, you found out that hundreds of young men, because let's be frank, victims of illegal parades are usually men. 90% of them are
Right,
men.
right.
And so you find these very young men crying and saying, no, we didn't do this. We're not cultists. I was coming from work and then I got picked up. I was waiting at the bus stop. I got picked up. I was selling pure water in traffic and I got picked up. These stories kept reoccurring. And of course, as journalists or as media houses generally,
Right.
were guilty of perpetuating this thing with the police.
Right.
Okay, so the next day you see in the newspaper, the Lagos State Police Command parades 100 cultists today. These are people who, at the time of that parade,
Right.
had not even given a statement.
Right. Right.
I mean, they were held in police station, they've not written a statement, and you already labeled them cultists. There is no court verdict to say that these people are indeed cultists. But you splash their names, you splash their faces
Right.
all over social media, all over the traditional media, all over the newspaper. It's just criminal. And so I decided to look into this. And when I looked further, what I discovered were very terrible. I mean, you've read the report.
We we'll get into what you discovered actually, but I'm particularly even concerned. Let's start from the top, right? So street raiding has been reported as one of the ways the security agencies illegally extort people for crimes they haven't even committed at all. I mean, they've not even committed any crime when they do this street raiding. Most of the people that they raid. Now, in your story, a police inspector disclosed that people were arrested in this manner, but are treated less harshly once they pay the bounty. What is this bounty exactly? And what did this police inspector tell you? I want to hear the story from your mouth right now.
So let me make a little clarification. That police inspector who said that to me is actually part of the criminal act.
Oh.
So while I was undercover at the Lagos State Anti-Cultism Unit,
Right.
I met this police officer whose name is Saudi. That was what he told me.
Okay.
Eventually, I found that his name is Adeboye, something, Nuruddin Adeboye, something like that. So he was explaining to me the different kinds of victims they have in their custody.
Right.
So he said, if you stay at the anti-cultism unit,
Right.
go out for operations and arrest people through this parade, it's easier for them to release such people because, I mean, they arrested them by the units arrested them, and it's easier to get them released. And so
Right.
they also pay lesser, 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira.
Right.
But it becomes more difficult and more risky for the police if it was a transfer case. So, for instance, if police station from a random police station, I
Right.
don't want to
Right.
give a specific name now. So, a random police station that is not the anti-cultism unit raids and arrest people.
Mm-hmm.
And then they then transfer those arrested people to the anti-cultism unit. So those suspects now that's been transferred to the anti-cultism unit, it's more difficult for the anti-cultism unit to just release them or let them go.
Right.
Because the DPO from that police station that transferred could come back and say, oh, we sent these people to you and we didn't hear anything about it. There was no prosecution. He was in charge to court.
Right.
And that could mean big problem for them.
You
But
literally just put. I'm sorry, Damiola. I need to butt in here. You literally just put yourself at risk in doing this report. How did it feel like?
Oh well, I mean, for you to tell this kind of story, you must be able to show firsthand, and there's no better way to show firsthand than being part of the story yourself. And so it's just part of the job. Yeah.
How did you get in? How did you blend in? What did you do? Were there a point that you were almost exposed?
Oh yes, there was a point I was almost exposed. So I embedded with a family, about 3 families actually,
Right.
that had their person inside of the anti-cultism unit being detained as cultists.
Right.
So I embedded with the family as one of the relatives. So I had access into
Indeed.
the anti-cultism unit. But of course, I also had to deploy some investigative techniques to ensure that I get evidence of some of these things out, so that, I mean, if you don't have evidence,
Yeah.
you can't prove anything.
Indeed.
So that was what I did.
I want to
But
talk.
on the day I almost got exposed, because I covered the parade regularly, I am
Oh.
a bit familiar with some of the police officers. They know me because they say, oh, journalist, she covers press and all of that, you know. So I found this very one who we've had a bit of conversation in the past. And he was like, Press, what are you doing here? And, at first I was thrown aback because I knew my cover was going to be blown if I say anything,
right,
that isn't well thought out.
right.
So I said, sorry, my uncle is here, and we are, and so I said, so you said they get uncle will be courteous and all of that. And he said, be courteous, so, but they say because you shall day your guy, I just, played that part of a dejected relative who's trying to get our uncle out of the police custody. He just laughed at it and waved it aside.
Right.
But one thing he did was to go to the inspector, the IPO in charge of the man's case. That's the Babalawo Suprojimo that I mentioned in the report.
Yes.
One thing he did, I didn't include in the story actually, was that he went to him and told him to be careful with me because I'm a journalist.
Oh, wow.
And so when I met Babalawo the next time, he was very angry and was like, and so what if you're a journalist? This is my own jurisdiction. I can do what I like. You cannot come and, what? Did your uncle not do this? And I just had to play calm and, just allow him rant and all of that. I actually have all of his rants recorded. I didn't include it.
Let's talk about the mental torture or actual torture that should we use inmates, these people in detention face. What did you see? What do you know?
It's actually very serious. So there's this place called the Kalakuta Republic inside of the anti-cultism unit. And this is where they take these suspects to and torture them, either to extract extrajudicial statements from them or to inflict severe pains so that they can cry to their relatives to find this money however they can find it so that they can get out of the detention. But it's a gruesome experience for them. And I mean, you can see the physical evidence because they are riddled with bruises and cuts and all of that. But of course, you can also see that it's affected them mentally somehow. I mean, and that was what I used in the opening paragraph of the first chapter. I mean, this young man, he's probably been there for like 3 weeks, 1 month, thereabout. And when he eventually got out, he had to pick the sand from, the premises and, swept it around his head and threw it back. This thing that the Yorubas do and say, I've taken the sand of this place, I'm never coming back.
Mm-hmm.
You can imagine the torture, the psychological torture that could have made a young man do that. So it's no doubt that these people, either they are guilty or not, they are subjected to severe physical and mental torture. And at that point that they are in the police station, they are not even guilty yet. Because the Nigerian law says that a man is innocent until proven guilty by the court of law. And the onus of that proof is on the police, who is the prosecutor.
Right. Damilola, let's track back a little bit. This place that you went to, is it an actual police station or what exactly?
Oh, it's an actual police station. I mean, it's the all of the anti-cultism squad, the unit itself. The way you have the anti-robbery squad, the SAS, the way you have the what's this other one? This raid squad. You also have the anti-cultism. It's an established unit in the police force.
Right.
And the one I went to was the one at Bagada. That's the main unit of the anti-cultism unit in Lagos. That's like their headquarters. If we're putting it in better perspective.
Would you say that the ranking officers don't know that this is going on in that place?
Oh, of course. I think that it's an open secret, They know that these things go on. And I also would like to think that some of the superior officers are complicit in the illegality that go on at the station. Because, it's so brazen that it is hard to believe that the superior officers don't know about it.
It's quite hard to believe as well, Damilola. I'm sure that you have an engagement to attend to right now, but thank you so much for talking to us. How can people go and check out this report? That I know that they're online, but what's the fastest way to check out this report, Damilola?
The third part is actually published today. It was published few hours ago.
Okay.
So you can actually read it on all the major online platforms. It's on Sahara Reporters, it's on Premium Times, it's on the Cable NG, it's on ICR, and it's on Ripples Nigeria.
Fantastic.
So you just type in Justice for Sale on your Google search engine, and you have a lot of platforms to read it from.
Right. So, Damilola, just before you go, and I'm sure I'm taking time, I don't want to let you go, but was there, at any point you were there, was there anybody that was legally freed by the court without pain?
To be frank, I remember a particular case now, and I captured it in the story. Yes, they were freed without paying, but that's because they had spent over a year already in prison.
Oh, wow.
So these three young men, teenagers actually, because they were like 15, 18, 17, thereabout. So they were raided. I'd previously met them in prison because I also went into the prison. That part is in the third part that's already been released this morning.
All right.
I went into the prison and I met this three young men who said, they were raided and all of that. And because they don't have relatives in Lagos, they could not meet their bail sum. They could not even afford to legally fulfill their bail condition. So less of paying someone to, fast track or whatever for them. So they were just taken to Kirikiri prison, and they've been there for over a year.
Oh, my.
They kept going to court over and over and over again. And so I was at their final court hearing when the court dismissed their case for lacking in diligent prosecution. So what that means is that for all this time that you have been in court,
right,
the prosecutor, the police, was unable to provide a shred of evidence to say that these men, these young men, were indeed cultists.
Right.
And so eventually the court discharged and acquitted them and said, they can go freely. But of course, that's after they had spent over a year in court. So they didn't pay financially, but of course, their freedom was the price.
Right. Damilola Banjo, a broadcast journalist, thank you so much for joining us on Morning Crossfire this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And you can go and check out Damilola's report online. The third part, there is part 1, part 2, and part 3 right now. The third part is out. Go and check it out online. Right now, let's get into the newsroom to bring you news headlines. We're back with the rest of the program. We'll be speaking with Shegun Awosonya Sega Link much later on the program this morning. I'm Sheriff Quadry. Yvonne Haifo is here with the headlines.
has 2 or 3 drivers.
News and views on important topics you care about.
We don't even have electricity. That's why we're using so much petrol.
This is insanity. This is just basic physics.
The Morning Crossfire.
Did you know that the Morning Crossfire now starts at 5 a.m.? Your favorite current affairs show on the radio.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning Crossfire now starts at 5 a.m. The Chit Chat, Dailies Today, Sports Drive, and the Crossfire are all packed together in a 4-hour-long Morning Crossfire show Monday through Friday. It's engaging, highly conversational, and impactful. The Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
Get up! Get up! Get up! It's time for the Morning Crossfire.
The Morning Crossfire, 99.3 Nigeria Info on a Tuesday morning. And we're looking at the special report done by an investigative journalist here in Nigeria, Damilola Banjo. She spoke with us before the break, and I can see a lot of WhatsApp messages here. I'm just going to go ahead and attend to these messages first before I come to the phone lines. Shegun Awosoya will join us. Segalink will be joining us any moment now, but I would like to hear from you before we go on with this conversation. My lights are blinking, but how about we attend to some messages on WhatsApp first? Benga from Lagos Island says, good morning, Sheriff. On the case of wrongful arrest and for those 3 young guys haven't spent over a year in prison, can't they in turn sue the state or the police or department for compensation for wrongful arrest? I'm sure that they can. They can. The question is, do they know they can do so? Good morning, Sheriff. I'm Desmond. The security system in the country is messed up due to traffic. Was driving back from work late. Some SARS guy stopped me at Ikeja Railway, collected my laptop and phone. I showed them my ID to prove I was coming back from work because they were already calling me a Yahoo boy. At the end, I collected my laptop after giving them the only 1K. 1K. But I forgot my phone with them because the place was rowdy due to so many guys in their custody. After 1 kilometer drive, I drove back. They were not there. Called severally, no response. They later turned off the phone. Those guys are criminals in disguise. Thank you for sending that in. Okay, Tony is here, and Tony says, I agree with the corruption ranking in Nigeria, with the police and judiciary occupying first and third positions. I wonder who sits as number 2. Same police should occupy first and second. Their so-called checkpoints is just a disguise for money collection point. They do nothing but collect money from all commercial vehicles, especially, and even give them number like Agberos. They give them number like Agberos. Some use Agberos to work for them. Please ply Badagry Road, especially Orile or Joe Barracks, Vokes, Okoko, down. Okay. Thank you for sending that in. I'll take one more message before I go to the phone lines. They are blinking. Oh, goodness me. Roro from Ayobo says Nigerian government and all its institutions are synonymous to corruption. Basically, Nigerian police and forces are criminals, scammers, robbers, lawbreakers, kidnappers. They are part of bandits and Boko Haram. That's what you said, Roro. Thank you for sending that in. Other messages are here, but we need to take a break from those messages right now. Okay, let's do Facebook, because we are live on Facebook. In case you're wondering, you can actually watch us live on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Okay, yeah, at Nigeria Info 99.3 on Facebook. Let me take this one from Emmy Ima on our live stream on Facebook. That's right. Let's see, Nigerian government and all its institutions. Okay, I think I took that already. You sent in on on WhatsApp, so yeah, it's basically the same. Rafael Adekoke says the injustice by the security officers in Nigeria is just exceptional and inhumane. But is it safe to reveal her name since she's an undercover reporter? Of course it is safe. Of course it is safe. Yeah, so that's it on the socials. Let's get on with the calls. Right now, let's quickly. Oh, okay. Sega Link is online already. My producer is winking and jumping and yelling at me that Sega Link is here already. Sega Link, thank you so much for joining us. Shegun Awosanya joins us right now. Thank you for joining us, Sega Link.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you here. So, we were talking about this particular report done by an undercover journalist in Nigeria about illegal arrest and illegal detention. Let me start by asking you, Segalink, what you think about police raid. What's your thought on it?
I believe that intelligence or evidence-based policing models is not adhered to in this part of the world. And our police are shifted and slipped into criminality in order to reinforce their culture of impunity. Based on the reports that we get from flashpoints in this country, or hotbeds in this country, talking about Abuja, Lagos, Benin City, Aba, Rivers, and the rest of the other parts where we get all our reports from,
right,
you'll find that police themselves just they are constituting nuisance to the entire society. They are the major threat in society. If you look at the crime watch from 2017 down till date, you will find that the distress calls for armed robbery, kidnapping and all is nothing compared to the distress calls from police harassment, extortion, abduction, and probably even extrajudicial killings in most cases.
Right.
So police stations themselves have seen an opportunity where they will just throw away their uniforms, go out on random raids, pick innocent citizens, and put ransom on their head. And this is exactly how they claim to generate funds for their operations.
Let's talk about generating fund for the station. In this report done by Damilola, it was revealed in that particular report that suspects were held in detention for weeks without court orders, and they remain there, incarcerated illegally, while their family members are pressured to raise huge amounts of money to bail them. Some 5,000, some 10,000, some as high as 70,000. That's after bargaining. Shagun, that's after bargaining with the IPO in charge. Is bail truly free in Nigeria? And is it just a make-believe? I'm just asking for the sake of people listening to us right now.
Yeah, actually, bail is actually free. The concept of bail is show me somebody responsible in your family or around you, in your network, who can vouch for you and who can present you if they need be, if you are indeed innocent of this charge or this allegation. And then the person will put down his details and say, if I cannot produce him, get me in the stead. It's like Jesus dying for us for our sins. You understand? So it's like more or less you coming to say, I am taking responsibility for this individual that I can vouch for that is not a criminal.
Right.
And even if he's a criminal, I can produce him upon request to aid police investigation. But they have now converted it or commercialized this into meaning if I arrest anybody, they don't even use the word arrest. If I abduct anybody on raids, because we believe that people don't have criminals written on their heads. So once we have this suspicion that something might happen here, something might, not that something has happened, something might, or something happened here, everybody who passed through that area is guilty of that crime.
Right.
And we are under the obligation to raid everybody, put them in our custody, and then begin to ask their families for money. Because people value their freedom. They will pay anything just to be out of trouble because they don't trust the police and they've been hearing gory stories and they don't want to be part of the statistic. So anything they are that is being demanded from them, they will give just to get the to get their words out of incarceration.
Can this be stopped, Segalink? Can this be stopped? Is it possible?
We are engaging, and we have been engaging this. There are several cases in orderly room trials as I speak to you. There are stations that have been emptied out and sent all the way to force headquarters to face internal disciplinary action based on this. As at this morning, we still had a case in Ogun State. As at today night, late last night, we still have a case in Mowe and Lagos and some other parts. Even it's in areas that you will not even believe should be having such situations. But our people need to understand. They need orientation. Because sometimes you have to even struggle with the family.
Right.
When you tell them, don't pay any amount to any police officer, let us know the name of the person demanding money from you after arresting your kid for doing nothing, for simply being alive. But the parents will say, according to corrupt officers within the station, who will tell them that if you call anybody on this matter, you will complicate the matter.
Right.
You better pay whatever you are asked and let your child go free.
Right.
And what they don't realize is that there's no guarantee that that same person will not be arrested the next day. There's no get out of jail free card. It's just business for these people. And the force headquarters is aware. The IG is aware of this problem. They are combating it, but the only way, whatever we do right now to stop this is just a stopgap. The only thing that can resolve this is the police reform bill, the passage of that bill.
Indeed. Shagun, very quickly, I have a message here on Facebook from Henry Diala Mayo, and he says, speaking of extrajudicial arrest and bribery, I have a recorded message of a SARS official speaking to me that said people have to be arrested whether right or wrong so that they can feed. Regardless of their salaries, they must feed. I mean, this is a listener listening to us right now, and he says he has this recording with him of a SARS officer. Does that speak to you? What does that speak to you? Let me ask, really. Let me not put my own question in there. What does that say to you?
That says to me that we are living under the culture of impunity, which did not start today. It has been reinforced over years. Corruption within the police structure is peer-induced and peer-reinforced. In other words, even if you have 5 people out of 10 who are sane, they must be insane in order to remain on their jobs. So this is exactly why, society is seeing this as a shock, because it is something that has been reinforced systemically on a national scale.
Right.
When we started the NSAS campaign, we were not dealing specifically with SARS. The term SARS there represent all the tactical squads, ranging from special anti-robbery to special anti-cultism to special anti-kidnapping to special tactical squad to zonal intervention funds to squad to every single one that you have. They have over 20 silos like that,
Right.
who are actually the militant arm of the police structure, designed to combat serious crimes.
Right.
But today, they have outlived their usefulness and they're just roaming the streets. Some of them don't have houses to live. They live in their cars. And because they must feed, it's like you putting warriors or men of war on a peaceful street.
Right.
They will certainly make war.
Can we accuse or can we say that the hierarchy, the top hierarchy of the police don't know about these extortions going on? Earlier on, you said that, the IG is aware of it. The IG is aware that there is corruption. But there is, according to this report by Damilola, these things are brazenly done in the open. In the open, Shagun. Can we still say that the IG doesn't know that these things go on in the open? It's a different thing when they have to, how they corner their hand from their back and everything and take. Right now, they take it in the open, right in front of every other person. How bad is the situation? Can we say that the top hierarchy are not in on this at all?
No, we can't say that. Anyone who says that is being economical with the truth. If I were to tell you there are evidences, hard evidences, empirical evidences, there are data that shows the depth and the entrenchment of the impunity within the police structure. Right now, what we have is a state-sanctioned criminal hubs that we call police stations. Every one of them has one or two or three or four, syndicates within its structure that they are using to fend for themselves at the expense of the masses.
Right.
And our fear, the reason why we're doing what we're doing, is that our fear is a time will come when society will rise to correct these ills. And when they do rise, there's nothing that will stop it. Nobody will care which police has integrity or which one does not. Because police don't live in isolation. They live in the society. They have families and they have children. You understand? So the barracking system does not really protect anybody from the society. We are in one society. The police is the public and the public are the police as well. So there's no how you can separate the two. So accountability begins from now. The IG, despite the fact that it's dealing with a lot of politically driven issues and conundrums based on paucity of funds, lack of commitments to promises and budgets, and so many other things.
Right.
There's really a very, very hard. It's really a hard thing for him to actually come back right now, based on the structure of appointment of police IGs. When a police IG raises the truth in data that this is what I'm dealing with, they will say it's pushing out stuff to discredit the government. It becomes the enemy of the politicians.
Right. Right.
You understand? So some people would rather protect their position in government than be seen to be an enemy within. And this is the problem that we're having in our society.
Shagun Awosanya, thank you so much for talking to us on Morning Crossfire today. Always a pleasure to have you.
All right.
All right, then. As much we can take on the interview with Shagun. Let's go on now with your thoughts and your comments on this conversation. Have you ever been extorted before? Illegally detained, illegally arrested, there's no illegal extortion. Extortion is extortion, right? Okay. The number is 0700 993 993 993. That is a number we are working with this morning on the program. Feel free to call me. When you're calling, please go straight to the point. Make sure your contribution is well put together, and you've got 60 seconds to make your submissions, all right? And please stay away from your radio. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, brother.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Let me start with, I appreciate the effort of that young lady that gave that police report.
Right, Damilola.
Yes, but it's rather most unfortunate that this thing starts from her desk to your studio and next to the trash bin. There is no follow-up. Point number 2, I reside in Badagry. I'm a retired military officer. I don't want to say much.
Okay.
You see, the whole of that Badagry road as this. It's a meal ticket for the policemen. Between Muwo and Aradagun, there's a squad that call themselves SAS. They extort 200 naira from these commercial Kabu vehicles.
Right.
Look, you see, I think this idea of talking over the radio and nothing is happening is rather most unfortunate.
So that's the thing. I'm sorry to butting, but that's the thing, right? Talking goes a long way. That's the perception I want us to always know. It's good to talk.
I agree with you. What I'm saying is this. You see, a DPO that will come to the office and he will be demanding for remand. I mean, for what do you call it?
Right.
Asking for money.
Right.
From the police officers who were on duty the previous night. How do we explain this?
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling me. Appreciate it. I've got Alhaji Bashiru on the line for a while now. Alhaji Bashiru, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. How's the family?
Not bad. We're good.
Yeah, I just want to express my opinion.
Yes, go on, please.
Recent cases of or allegations of extortion and then detention.
All right.
In the Nigerian police.
Go on, please.
Honestly speaking, I have never been a victim.
Okay.
And then why I decide to be a law-abiding, but I want to propose solutions to this.
Yes, please.
To those who feel that they have been harassed by the Nigerian police, I want to restate that, one, they should be themselves. Once, if they see cars or any police patrolling, they should be themselves. Wait, and then try to, identify themselves.
Right.
No police can take you to anywhere. And if they say they should go. Why give them the money? That's number one.
Okay.
Don't give anybody money. Even they should be holding a grenade, not even AK-47. Follow them to the station and analyze yourself.
All right.
The record will be there. Don't be feared.
Okay.
Then secondly, back to the Nigerian police. They should caution their officers. Most of the officers are out there under the mercy of alcohol and be misbehaving with rifles. Needs more to be done on sensitization.
Right.
That human relation must be enhanced. And then Nigeria must not be, especially we, the poor Nigerians, must not be, be put at, a kind of a fear whenever they see battalions of police.
Right.
Recklessness while on the road, driving, all manner of things.
Alhaji Bashir, thank you so much for sharing your thought this morning.
I'm calling from Ikorodu.
Thank you so much for calling. Appreciate it. If you are just joining us, this is Nigeria Info. We're talking justice for sale. Shala is joining us right now. Shala, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Shala, welcome. What's on your mind, Shala? Let's talk.
My name is Biola.
Oh, Biola. I beg your pardon. Biola.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a very brutal experience with all these police officers.
Let's talk about it.
But there was a time 2 years ago I was in Delta State, precisely Ogara. I have an official assignment. So between between Saple and Ogara, there are 3 police checkpoints within that space.
Okay.
3 police checkpoints. So there was a day in the morning I was coming from Saple to Warri. So this men, they stopped me on the highway, if you are familiar with this road I'm talking about. So the guy was accusing me that I'm a Yahoo boy. I said, how do I look like a Yahoo boy? He collected my laptop. He collected my phone. He said, I'm a Yahoo boy. I said, how? Because I'm keeping Afro. Is it a crime to keep Afro? He said, if you tell me anything, I'm going to change your color right now. I said, how do you mean? He said, I'm going to change you to red. Invariably, he's telling me he's going to shoot me. I said, what have I done wrong? Before I know it, this man gave me a dirty slap on my face. And every other person was looking at him. They couldn't say anything. They couldn't caution him. You understand? So the next minute, I was helpless. We're still in the car. So the other guy had to run for his life. He ran away out of the car. He has to run. So after a while, he said I should bring 50,000. I said, for what? What have I done? What have I done wrong for me to pay you 50,000? So we argued back and front. Eventually, this guy collected 5,000 before he could release my laptop and my phone.
Whoa.
Few days later, I went to a canteen within Ogara. I was eating. I saw this team of police officers. They came in to eat. Before I know it, he was having an argument with a lady.
Okay.
The same statement he made to me that I'm going to paint you red now. I'm going to change your color. The same thing he told the girl. Before the girl could say anything, he shot her on the foot.
Oh, my
The same
word.
police officer.
Oh, my word.
This is where we live. This is the country we live. These people do anyhow. They do anyhow. They just behave anyhow.
Oh, my
They will
word.
drink. They will drink to soup up and they'll go and stay on the main road. So you dare not argue with them. Even you're on your right. They feel they are holding a gun. They can shoot you and nobody will ask them. They will lie that you're a thief.
Thank you so much for talking to me. I really do appreciate it. We must head out now to a short break. When we return, I'll take more of your calls. I need to hear your experiences. I need to listen to you talk about what you have had to deal with in the hands of security operatives in terms of extrajudicial arrest, detention, extortion. We're back after this break. Do stay here.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
Back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Did you know that the Morning Crossfire now starts at 5 a.m.? Your favorite current affairs show on the radio.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning Crossfire now starts at 5 a.m. The Chit Chat, Dailies Today, Sports Drive, and the Crossfire are all packed together in a 4-hour-long Morning Crossfire show Monday through Friday. It's engaging, highly conversational, and impactful. The Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
More talk.
Lagos is a pipeline host state with petrol pipelines running underground.
More conversation.
In developed countries, every tanker has 2 or 3 drivers.
News and views on important topics you care about.
We don't even have electricity. That's why we're using so much petrol.
This is insanity. This is just basic physics.
The Morning Crossfire.
More talk.
Lagos is a pipeline host state with petrol pipelines running underground.
More conversation.
In developed countries, every tanker has 2 or 3 drivers.
News and views on important topics you care about.
We don't even have electricity. That's why we're using so much petrol.
This is insanity. This is just basic physics.
The Morning Crossfire.
99.3 Nigerian for Morning Crossfire is back on your radio. I'm Sheriff Quadry. You can watch us live right now on YouTube and Facebook. On YouTube, Nigeria Info 99.3. On Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3. On Twitter, at Nigeria Info FM. You can follow us on Instagram as well, Nigeria Info FM Lagos. That's right. You can follow me on across all socials at Sheriff Quadry. This morning on the Morning Crossfire, we're looking at a special investigative report done by a Nigerian undercover reporter, Damilola Banjo. The report she titled Justice for Sale. In this report, Nigerians were raided by some policemen and then extorted, forced to pay, tortured in some instance. Right. And forced to part away with some amount of money before they could regain their freedom. And this morning I'm asking you, have you been through this before? What did you do? What happened afterwards? Well, you can send me your experiences via WhatsApp line. The WhatsApp is 0809 597 5805. That is 0809 597 5805. The number we're using, if you'd like to talk to me on the show this morning, the number is 0700 993 993 993. That's 0700 993 993 993. Paul from Ikotun says, I was flogged by SARS at Ikotun. They were driving against traffic and were flogging people just that they will pass. All right. Let's look at this long one. Quite long, but I will take it. I will take it. I was driving along Oshodi Road last Friday, and a policeman stopped me at the checkpoint to ask for my driver's license. I realized that I forgot it at home, and I then told the officer that I'm sorry, sir, I forgot it at home. And I opened my phone to show him a scanned copy of the license, that it's not that I don't have it. He said I will have to go to their police office, police station, and get to pay 30,000 naira for not providing the license at the point of arrest. I pleaded with him, and luckily a man stepped in. A man stopped by us and pleaded on my behalf that since I forgot it at home, they should please free me. And the policeman said I can only be freed if I only pay. I think I've seen this before. Then after the man paid on your behalf, the policeman still insisted on you balancing up to pay the 30,000 naira. Okay, thank you for sending that in. I think I appreciate it. To solve this problem, any police officer caught for any illicit behavior, the DPO of this station will be dismissed. Paul from Ikotun is saying that. I don't know on whose authority you're saying that, though, but I appreciate it. Let me cross over to Facebook and take a few comments on Facebook. Henry has this one, long one, on Facebook as well. I will take it right away. Okay, Mayor, I think I took your message earlier. Okoro Samuel says, sometime last year, I and my friends went to work at Agbara, and while we were eating at a joint after the day's job, would you believe we're carted away by security operatives in a bus, and we ended up spending the night in the cell, and were bailed by the woman we're working for. Yeah. Nothing is actually surprising these days. Mayor says, speaking of extrajudicial arrest and bribery, I have a recorded message. Yeah, I didn't take that complete message before. Let me go on with the rest of the message. Now, regardless of their salaries, they must feed. A complainant sent pictures of my friend to the police through WhatsApp so they can track and deal with him because of death without investigation. They don't care. They just want to torture and extort citizens. Government gave assault firearms to dreaded human animals of police to police us. It's a terrible nightmare. There has been no reforms whatsoever in the police outfit. Henry Diala, it's a work in progress. We will continue to talk about it. We'll continue to look for ways to reform our police. Like Shegun said, like Shegun said earlier, the Police Reform Act must be bill must be passed into law. Andrew is here. Andrew, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Sherry.
Good morning, Andrew.
Yeah, I live in Badagry Exeter. I've been here for about 5 years.
Right.
And there's a police checkpoint between Agogo Igbala and Muwo.
Okay.
The guys there, they are very close to the immigration checkpoint. They've been there for more than 5 years. I don't know if they have office where they report. To the extent they change vehicles for them, They are there every day and night. And there's one again between MTN and Agogo Igbala. They hired boys to work with them, to harass people anyhow. For 5 good years. I don't know if they have, because sometimes I believe those days they used to change them, but they are stagnant in one place. It's bad. And that is an entrance where people come into this country. It's bad. Before you can get transport from Badagry to Agbara, you spend 3 hours on the road waiting for vehicle to come.
Is there any particular illegal extortion going on, illegal detention arrest going on?
Illegal extortion, illegal ones. Every vehicle that passes, they give their number. Your number is 20, your number is 10, this one is 30, this one is 50. And if you cannot remember your number, it's another problem. That doesn't mean you cannot block, you cannot...
every vehicle or commercial vehicle?
Commercial vehicles. Commercial vehicles.
And
they know that is only means of the living for that area. It's bad. It's painful. It's painful.
All right, Andrew. Thanks for sharing that. Vincent is calling from Papa. Hi, Vincent. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to everybody in the studio. You know what? All this will continue to happen. Let me digress a bit. The problem now is this. Let us continue to provide solutions, because the injustice and whatever is almost across board. So how do we go forward from here? You can see now that the impunity continues every day. And who are the people to restructure or correct this impunity?
Right.
They have their mega impunity also. I mean the governance structure. So as we are agitating for the reforms, we have to bring in more effort in agitating for electoral reform, the reform that will bring in the governance structure that will reform this police brutality. Right. So the major reason is this. Let the electoral at least between the 2019 election and now, guys, the election assembly are supposed to have been working. These are hearing, public hearing on internet or whatever. So
right.
See that electoral reform, so that they continue. They will be experimenting it on the offshoot elections.
Okay.
So you can see they are all sitting back and they're watching. And this the very police brutality cannot be reformed by this set of guys we have now, because they have their mega impunity as well. So how can impunity reform impunity? It cannot. We continue to talk. But now our method is supposed to push to electoral reform, the primary force.
Right.
Thank you.
Vincent, thank you for calling me. Stephen is in VI here. Stephen, hi.
Good morning.
Welcome, Stephen.
All right.
Talk to me.
Yeah. Sometime last year in Benin, my elder brother, I forgot I was a copper then, elder brother, he came back from work. He was Guinness. He came back from work and he bought suya. We ate the suya, it was so sweet. And my mom demanded he should go buy. He has not changed. He only removed his jacket. He was still on his trouser with his ID card on his pocket. In his pocket, he went out to get the suya. We never saw him. The next day, we had to go from one police station to another to report. Later, we got a call that he was arrested. We went there. Only this guy has been beaten black and blue. In fact, they actually turned him red. We now saw, they now said they have evidence. We now saw a picture. They took a picture and a video of him, handcuffed him with a gun by his side.
Oh, my.
That he's a cultist. They saw them vandalizing, robbing, and that they even killed some people in one area like that. So that actually happened, and police went for raiding. They arrested some of those cold boys. On their way coming back, they saw this young man walking to where he was going to buy.
That's your own brother?
That my other brother. They arrested him. They handcuffed him. He was telling them, oh God, they walk. I'm just coming from work. I want to buy suya. This is my ID. One of them collected his ID card, threw it through the window. And some of those guys that they arrested said, no, this guy is not part of us. Do you know what the police was saying? We ended up spending 500K.
500,000 naira.
Because they said they have evidence. And if they take him to court, an evidence. How will you argue that? How will you argue that? There is a man with a beating him of blood all over, and there's a gun by his side.
When was this? When was this exactly? What year was this?
Last year.
Oh.
So how do we argue that? We have to rally around, look for money, then we just start to bring it. And somebody now linked us to the DPO of that station. He said he knows the man. He took myself and my uncle. I was all kitted up with my copper uniform. We went in his office. You need to see the delivery. People were bringing bag of money in. You need to see the delivery. This one will come out. So they will start dropping it. I mean, these people are killing Nigerians.
Stephen, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing this. We've had BC on the line from Igomu. BC, thank you for holding the line. Good morning to you.
Thank you very much, Sheriff. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah. Last Thursday, I drove to Agbo.
Right.
From say Ogbere, which is after Ijebode, to Benin. You can count up to 50 checkpoints on the road. And they are all extorting money from motorists, looking for excuse. I was stopped in Benin, and there was one figure was wrongly written on my roadworthiness.
Okay.
And they collected 2,000 naira from me before they could allow me to go. Another motorist paid 10,000 naira. See, the reform in the police will not happen until they change all the leaders in the police force, because they are part of all this extortion.
Right.
You can't have a reform when the head is bad. Look, all these people, right from the people on the road, they make returns to the maybe their CP or the DPO in the police station, and the DPO will make a return to the police commissioner, and the police commissioner will make a return to up to even the IG. I'm sorry to say this, but that is the reality. And we cannot have reform until all these people are changed.
Right.
Look, what happened in the customs should be what should happen in the police force. They should bring an external person to come and head the police force.
Right.
That is when you can have reform, because all these people cannot do anything. They are part and parcel of the problem.
BC, thank you so much for sharing your experience with me. I really appreciate it. Izu Uwa Joseph on Facebook says, I was extorted by the police checkpoint on Eric Moore Road. They took me to the First Bank ATM at Abebe Road and forcefully collected 20,000 naira from me. This happened around 5 a.m. on a Monday morning in February 2020. Nayong Yepma says, my name is Fidelis Amos from Lagos. Police are not doing their job. Most of police. Okay. Thank you. I just tried as much as possible to make sense of what you sent, but that's the farthest I can go with it. Well, thank you so much for sending that in. I really appreciate it. Okay. Let me go to WhatsApp and take a few thoughts from WhatsApp. Ada from Igondo says, I know a guy who used to give our area a problem. Suddenly, I saw him putting on a police uniform. Please tell me what this guy will do now that he's empowered with a gun and a uniform. Thank you for sending that in. Appreciate it. My name is Okpe Kainde from Ijegun, and he says, raiding in my area, Ijegun is a microfinance bank. Where did they remit the whole money to? Senator Isami Sao from Bauchi State. You're saying that's who they remit the money to? Thank you for sharing that. Good morning, Sheriff. I'm Olusegun. I've been listening to today's conversation. I've been laughing at testimonies around. I was arrested in 2010. 2 days to resumption as a fresher in place of my brother who fought people around, pointed me to be his elder brother. So your brother fought people. Then the people around pointed you to be the elder brother, and I was in cell for 2 days. Got bailed for 20K or thereabout. Thank you for sharing your thought. I mean, you're not the one that did whatever it is your brother did, but then you were pointed and the police arrested you and you had to pay your way out. Okay. Kayode from Cotton says, only those who fuse it knows it. I reported the absconded of my daughter from home due to illegal demand from her school to police station in my area. In fact, the person that aided my daughter to leave home was reported as well. This occurred in 2018. To my surprise, the police asked me to bring 500,000 naira. In fact, I have to forget the case to the extent it took divine intervention of God before the girl could be found after 10 months on the street. And that is really, really sad. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Miracle.
Miracle, where are you calling me from?
I'm calling from Aja.
Tell me, you have an experience you want to share?
Yeah.
Talk to me.
The thing that happens that most times people don't know how to relate with the police.
Okay.
Maybe when they are reading, if they come across you, many people will start asking them some questions, and some will start asking at them. You understand? So if they come across you.
Oh, Miracle, do try and call me back. I got a message on Facebook from Boxer. This person wrote the studio line and says he keeps telling me that it does not exist. Of course, it does not exist. The line that you wrote online is not the line I called earlier. The 993 is in 3 places. So it's 0700 993 993 993. Okay, but you wrote yours in 2 places, okay? So it's 993 993 993. Ndubisi is here from Okota. Hi, Ndubisi. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
You see, talking about the extortion in the police.
Yes, please.
It is rampant, and the thing is that it is something appears as if it has been entrenched. You understand?
I'm with you.
The top echelon of the force lives a kind of life that cannot be sustained by legal money. Say if there is a budget for the police, they cannot sustain. How can you post a police officer, a top police officer to a particular place, maybe call say area commander, and he cannot live in the barracks? There is no accommodation for him. He will live in a hotel for all through the period that he will serve within that area that you posted in. Some of them don't have houses. And so the extortion will continue to come because they need to sustain their life living in hotels or trying to sustain themselves by any other means. So this is the reason why such things continues to happen.
I hear you.
Except the government does something and create an enabling environment for the police to function very well.
Right.
Corruption will continue.
Right. NWC, thank you for sharing your thought. Let's speak with Kende is in Mushi. Kende, hi.
Yes, hello.
Good morning to you, Kende.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, about the topic you are talking this morning.
Yes, please.
It's a very terrible situation we are dealing with in Nigeria right now. And if government is not ready to do anything about this, it can kill a nation. This is what is killing Nigeria right now. Because and the only solution is a total reform. Total reform. I mean, the police of Nigeria need new orientation, where they get to know they were not to be forced. That name force in the name Nigeria Police Force. It's something I don't know.
You think there's an issue with the force in the name?
Without force, yes, I don't know. The police officer will just slap you anytime, like before you even make a statement, before you even answer a straight question from police. The next you get is a slap. Like I don't know where they get that. I'm a transporter. I drive a tricycle. I ride tricycle around Michigan there. And there was a particular day, and the police just enter inside my tricycle like. Yes, start going. I said, go where? Say, to the station. What happened? What is going on? Nothing. Just like, I just have to keep going. I said, what's the problem, police officer? Where's the police officer? Just saying that I keep going. The next, I just see the boss, their boss, just right by my side.
Right.
Like, hey, okay, keep going. Move, follow him. Just start shouting like, what's the problem? Yes. After I came to the station, I was like, my hurricane is already locked inside the station. What's the problem? I keep asking him, what's the problem? What's my problem? What's my offense? I was like, I got his response. What I get is like, if by then we ask you all your papers and this is, all the necessary documents, you probably will not have everything.
Hmm.
But you have something that will arrest you. I say, why didn't you ask me then?
So they just assume that you can't have your papers complete.
I can't have your papers complete, yes. That I can't just assume like I can't have the everything you have something to arrest me for.
Oh.
I was just propagating. What is this? What is? I think the government used to do take a very drastic step.
All right.
Please knows that there is a punishment. I mean, when they know they can't just go scot free doing anything to the nation, to the masses. When they have to know that they were to protect the people, not to absorb or to.
Right, Kende, thank you for talking to me. Samuel has been on the line for a while. Samuel is in the Ikeja. Hi, Samuel. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for holding the line. I really appreciate it. Talk to me, please.
Yeah, this is Samuel Ibobo. I'm a boat driver.
Okay.
I have an issue. I picked a rider from Chevron Drive in front of Ebanos Supermarket. And I take her to her estate. Getting to inside the estate compound, her house is close to the gate.
Okay.
And she asked me to park at the front of her house so that she would be able to bring down, because she has seaway water and other things at the boat.
Okay.
So she can be able to. I said, should I park? She directed me to park at her gate. So as I was reversing to park properly, the next thing I heard somebody hitting at my boot. I was like, who is hitting at the boot? You know? The next thing, the man came to my side, just opened my door. I said, what is happening? He said, why am I to talk to him like that? That is the police in charge of this estate gate.
Oh, my.
I said, okay, what did I do now? I just asked that who is sitting at the booth. The next thing I hit in my face is hot slap. He slapped me. He said he's going to deal with me, that he will show me that he's from North. You know, I was like, what did I do? The next slap again, and the rider I carried, she's still inside my car. And she said, I should come down, that is devil at work, you know. So other people rushed. I said, I didn't do anything. He said he would deal with me. Now, I will not leave this place. He goes straight to my booth, and I sat at my booth. He said he must deal with me that night. So I got so I was crying. I started crying. And I call I have a lot of brothers that is a police officer.
Okay.
I called them immediately, and I said, look at what is happening to me, because on the app there is this SOS button.
Okay.
That you need to click when you're in trouble.
Okay.
I click on that SOS button. They said I should hold on. They're trying to get back to me to get my location.
Right.
The next thing I see, both send me an email that I should write them exactly what is happening.
Oh, my word.
So I abandoned that. I call my brother. He works with this.
How were you able to, because of time, how were you able to resolve it on that day?
The lady now stepped down from the car, started begging. I call my brother. They said they want to speak with the lady. They spoke with the lady. The lady confirmed that I didn't do anything wrong. I just asked who is sitting at the boat. And the lady was begging there that she had been begging me that I should calm down, that she would go and talk to the people, that I should just forget everything, that is devil's work. She actually later begged me. She went to the gate to go and meet the woman, begged him to allow me go. That's how I live that environment every day.
Wow, Samuel, thank you very much. Apologies. I really, really do sympathize with you with what you had to go through. Lagos, we have to go right now. It's been an amazing conversation. Morning Crossfire from 5 to 9. Oh, my goodness me. Adebayo on YouTube says the police in Lagos are the most corrupt police officers in the country. They said no roadblocks in the state, but come to Igodo Road, you see police extorting cars in the open. It's sad. That's on the only comment I can take from YouTube. The microphone heavyweight Colin Stecker is in the building already. He'll be taking you through the ride on What's Up Lagos. I am Sheriff Quadry. I'll be back on, of course, Morning Crossfire tomorrow at 5 a.m. You should join me. Conversation starts as soon as I open the microphone at 5 like this. For the yarn to go. I'm Sheriff. Do you have a fantastic day? Follow me online at Sheriff Quadry. Stay here on Nigeria Info.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.